Hi everyone, Amy from Mind Body Solutions. Thank you for joining me for practice today. Today we'll be working on using simple reference, using our body for simple reference. You know, at Mind Body Solutions, we talk about the sensation of reference or light touch that helps to reveal a pose and helps us feel the benefit of the pose. So today we'll be practicing a little bit of reference using simple things like our hands and blankets to really allow the pose to be revealed to us. So we're starting out today in sitting. I'm on a couple of blankets. I would encourage you to sit on a little bit of height too. Simply have my legs in simple cross-legged position here. Palms can be facing up or facing down as we start. So let's move into just a few breaths of quiet meditation here. Softening the eyes, the ears, the inside of the mouth here. You can close the eyes if you wish, or simply soften your gaze. Just sitting, just being right now. Noticing the sensation of the support underneath the sitting bones, underneath the feet, where your hands are in contact with your legs. Simple length in the spine and balancing the head right on top of the shoulders. Just sitting, just being. If your eyes are closed, blink them open gently. And now let's all turn our palms facing upward. So the palms are upward, the back of my hands is located, right on the end of my bone or my long bone here, my leg. And just let the fingers curl just a bit. Now draw your attention to your palms. You can look at them if that's a little bit easier, or you can just simply direct your gaze forward, whatever's easiest for you. I find it a little bit easier to look at my palms when I'm doing this activity. And imagine a little bit of warmth right in the center of the palm. And as you breathe throughout the body, allow that little bit of warmthness to begin spreading through the palm, gradually widening across the palm, and then percolating right out into the fingers and the thumbs, allowing them to begin to gently open. So we're not vigorously opening our palms here, we're gently opening them. Now allow that sensation of openness and expansion to percolate up through the arms, through the torso, and out through the rest of the body. Let your breath be soft here. Connect that sensation of opening in the palms now to the soles of the feet. Maybe the toes want to wiggle a little bit, but connecting the palms and the feet is a really wonderful way of beginning to sense that inward awareness, that flow of energy through the body. Soft breath here. And then let's bring our arms out, keeping the palms soft and open. Let's bring them to the floor. So my fingertips, just really my ring fingers are just touching the floor for a little bit of reference here. That little bit of reference gives me a little bit of grounding, and from that grounding, I can lift my chest. And I'm not really even pushing into the floor. I'm just giving myself that little bit of touch, that little bit of reference here. Allows me to open wide across the front of the chest and lifting the chest here. Filling the body again with awareness. Layering in the breath as you feel comfortable. Spread wide across the palms to open the chest. Connect that to the sensation of spreading in the soles of the feet. And breathe into the whole being. Now let's take one arm over our head, bringing the arm over our head, any amount, whatever works for you today. Take that other hand and take the side of your hand, kind of the thumb side of your hand, and bring that right into the crease of the hip. pressing down through the crease of the hip, allowing for a little more expansion up through the top of the fingers. Breathe here as we reference this hip, pressing downward gently and allowing for an increased sense of expansion and freedom all the way throughout the fingertips. And then if it feels good, go ahead and give yourself a little reference on these outside ribs, breathing right into them for just a couple of breaths. And then a wide arc takes that arm down. And of course, we go to the other side. So bringing that arm up over your head here, take that other hand, bring it across, pressing down through that hip, expanding up through space, letting that arm rise up any amount as you grow into this pose. Layering in the breath here, letting this opposite shoulder, instead of being way up, letting that opposite shoulder rest down. And then if it feels good, give yourself a little more reference on the side of the ribs. Notice if you grow into the pose even a little bit more as you reference another part of the body here. Take a couple of breaths here. And then release and bring it back down. Good, let's just move a little bit. How about a little bit of circling over the hips? If that doesn't feel good to you, find another movement that does. And then of course we need to go both ways. So moving both ways here, and then maybe even taking the spine side to side, a little lateral sway here, whatever feels good for you to move the body a little bit. And then come back to the center, be in the center for another breath. Notice where your body's been. Always give yourself that little transition time between poses to really let that sensation flow through the body. Now, hopefully you have another blanket around. I've got another blanket right here, yoga blanket. I'm actually going to open it wide, bringing it into a big wide fold, and then I'm going to just gently kind of roll it up into a loose roll here. It doesn't have to be tightly rolled. I'm going to put that in front of me as I uncross my legs and bring my feet together. Now, the bottoms or the ball mounts of my feet are together. My knees are a little bit apart here. I'll take the blanket and place it right over the top of my feet. So it's right in the ankle crease right now. So the blanket is on top of the ankle crease, right on top of the ankle crease here. And then slowly bringing my feet, so the bottoms of my feet are together, opening my knees, and I'll take the blanket, I'm going to wrap it right around my ankles and let my ankles and kind of my shins come to rest on the blanket here. And what that does is it brings me into a really supported Badakanasana. So the bottoms of my feet are together and my legs are in a Badakanasana. Now I'm not going as far into Badakanasana or bound angle pose as I could. I don't want you to go to your extreme here because I want you to feel really supported. Once you're here, you might decide that you want your feet a little further away or a little closer. I'm going to take mine today and bring them a little further away from me and just to let my hips open just a bit more and let the knees relax. But they're very, very supported by this rolled blanket. Now, if you don't have another rolled blanket, you could put pillows here, or you could put a couple of yoga blocks here. So whatever you have around to support yourself in Badakanasana so you don't feel like you're hanging here. Another great way of giving ourselves reference with everyday objects that we have at home. And so I'll place my hands right on my shins, giving myself just a little more reference here as I let my spine grow. Placing my head right on top of my shoulders. Let's take a couple of nice slow breaths here. As we're breathing here, study the sensation of midline that we're creating. We're bringing the soles of our feet together. We're spreading out from the midline, giving ourselves reference here. And then let's bring our hands together. So we have the soles of the feet together, the palms of our hands together, Spread the palms wide again, like we did earlier. Connect that sensation of spreading of the palms to the sensation of spreading throughout the feet. Lift the chest and breathe. One more breath here. And then let's take our hands apart, bring them around behind your hips or right on the edges of your hips. I've got my fist going into my height now, into my blankets, and I'm just gonna unweight my sitting bones, let them drop down. So I have a little less weight on the sitting bones right now, letting the spine relax and hang just a bit. And then keeping that length in the spine, set myself down. Hands come around to the front. Take a breath here, feeling that sense of length and expansiveness in this pose. All right, for our final portion, let's go down to the floor. So come on down to the floor, take a little something underneath your head. So I've opened up my blanket and I'm putting it here to go underneath my head. Come on down all the way to the floor, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. And take as much height as you need for your head to be comfortable here. Once again, let's take the heel of the hand or a fist, whichever feels good for you, and place that right in this crease of the hip. So it's below the hip points. It's right in there. You might have to move the flesh around just a little bit to get the hands right into the crease of the hip. I've got the heels of my hands here, but you could also use your fists. Or you could use a bolster and put a bolster across the legs and then press. Our direction of press will be horizontal, like I'm pressing toward the wall beyond my feet, not toward the floor, but a horizontal line. So I've got the kind of the heels of my hands in the crease here. I'm going to inhale. And then as we exhale, gently pressing toward the wall beyond the foot of my mat, releasing that low back a bit. Soft breath here. And then release. And then let's do it one more time if it feels good. So inhaling. Exhaling, pressing through the heel or the fist or the bolster toward the wall beyond the foot of the mat. Letting that back open just a bit. Soft breath here. And then release. Let the hands drop out to the side. Take a couple of breaths here. And if it feels okay, go ahead and let the legs come down straight. Letting there be a little bit of space between the feet and let the legs drop out to the sides as the arms drop out to the sides. Letting the body rest here for a few more breaths. Eyes can be gently soft or gently closed. Allow the body to feel the reference, the support of the floor below. And then slowly bend one or both knees. Let's go ahead and roll to the side, pausing there, and then pressing, walking your way back up into any comfortable seated position, coming back where we started. Bringing our hands once again, feeling that sensation of midline, that sensation of reference as the hands come together. Namaste. Thank you for sharing in this practice with me today.